Welcome to Mastering the Next, a cutting-edge podcast that explores the future of graduate, online, and non-traditional education through the lens of AI and technology. I'm your host, Dr. Ray Lutsky, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Element 451. Join me for discussions with some of the thought leaders shaping the future of graduate enrollment management through technology. Mastering the Next is a part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform that helps institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. Access to affordable, high-quality education is a challenge many institutions aspire to solve, but few approach it as boldly as Campus. From free college credits for high schoolers to personalized student support services, Campus is redefining what accessibility and success mean in higher ed. Joining me today is Mike Belicose, CFO of Campus, to discuss the ways institutions can build a more inclusive future for higher education. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks, Ray. Glad to be here.
So Campus's mission is to maximize access to world-class education beyond affordability. What does world-class education mean in your institutional philosophy? Tell us a bit more about how Campus approaches that.
Of course, Ray. So I see what Campus is doing as beyond the affordability challenge that we certainly are solving for. One of the more exciting components or aspects of the Campus business model is that we're solving for a market imbalance between high-quality, motivated educators and community college students. So what we're doing at Campus is we are putting together a pipeline of adjunct professors from some of the top universities in the country. For example, UCLA, Cal Berkeley, Princeton, Columbia, Stanford. And we are connecting these individuals who are lifelong educators with community college students who typically don't have access to that caliber of professor in a standard community college relationship. If you are someone looking to go to community college, you are likely going to find somewhere geographically near to you. You can drive 5-10 miles to your nearby college. And the supply of faculty or professors that are going to work at that community college are similarly in a small geographic radius. What we're able to do is provide a supply of educators from all around the country, and at some point it's going to be all around the world, and build a network of educators who can bring best practices from their own institutions and different ways to think about the degree or programs in which you're supporting, and help students learn in certainly different ways. I think the other thing that's really important to share here, and it does go a little bit alongside affordability, but I see it as a bit of a different issue that we're solving for, is student debt. So one thing that we are very proud of is that to date, all of our online, we call them scholar students, have not taken out a single dollar of student debt in the entirety or the history of the program. Now, we philosophically, as a college, as a leadership team that oversees and manages Campus, we believe that student debt has no future in this country. There are millions of people that are burdened by excessive debt loads for degrees in which they'll never earn payback against. And so, not singling out liberal arts degrees or any other degree, but there are a number of degrees that are being offered at colleges all around the country, and the wages that can be earned after graduating with these degrees simply won't pay for the hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt that students are incurring in order to earn these degrees. And so rather than talking about affordability and the cost it would require to obtain a degree over 2 years or 4 years for a bachelor's degree, we're not even offering student loans. We have an approach whereby, if government aid and in particular, I'm thinking Pell Grants, don't cover the tuition that we charge our students for a 2-year associate's degree, then we'll find ways through institutional grants and other opportunities to lower the cost of tuition and make sure that our students can graduate with a degree without the long-term burden of debt hanging over them, which is hurting our country, so significantly as it currently stands. Last thing I will share is that what's also unique about campus is that in many, if not almost all ways, we are an online community college. We're also a tech-enabled college built on a chassis that is a forward-looking technology company, I would say. So what we've done is we've built software unique and proprietary to campus. It's called Campus Wire. And all of our classes are taught and managed through our proprietary Campus Wire software. All of our students submit their homework and have their discussions through Campus Wire. And as a result, we have the ability and opportunity to further scale this college in such a way that interacting with professors, with other faculty members, with teaching assistants becomes that much easier over time. And so as a result of this tech-aligned vision, we have a lot of friends in the industry, investors across the country, across the world, that have a real vested interest in what we're doing in changing the way that students have relationships with higher education. And one example of this is we recently, 2 months ago, held a pitch competition down in Austin, Texas. And we had a panel judging the pitch competition, which I was very impressed the caliber of the panel in which we were able to bring on board. So the 3 individuals who led our panel were Joe Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir, Shaquille O'Neal, former NBA player, which many people know of, and then Jennifer Hyman, who's the CEO of Rent the Runway. And our students did an amazing job pitching their business ideas to these 3 very accomplished people. And I was just so impressed by the quality of pitches that were shared, and also the back and forth conversation and earnest interest that the panel had in the ideas that were being proposed. And I can't see another community college similar to us providing that same sort of opportunity with the sort of individuals that our students are going to be exposed to. And mind you, this was the first time we held this competition. We're going to make this an annual event, if not on a more frequent basis than annual, with the same type of exciting individuals sitting on a panel to judge the ideas.
That does sound exciting and fun. And I want to stick with that topic for a second, the idea that you're providing this additional value that students really would not find at a traditional community college. And I mean, everything from your supply of educators to your proprietary technology to your approach to student debt, which in the current regulatory and government environment, who knows what's going to happen with student loan programs and student loan forgiveness and all of the programs in place. You clearly approached this with a thoughtful strategy. Why, this is a sort of an opinion question, Mike, why aren't traditional community colleges able to address these problems? You talked about some systemic challenges like their regionality and faculty being sort of regional. You're solving things for students that traditional community colleges aren't. Why do you think that is?
The benefit of being a startup community college in many ways is that we are agile, unlike traditional institutions. We built this company from very much a first principles, bottom-up view as to, what ratios do we need to satisfy in order to keep our students not only happy, but have an amazing student experience throughout their journey of, for us, 8 terms in order to to graduate with an associate's degree. And so we're able to identify and address issues that students are facing that your traditional, four-year institution or community college simply just doesn't have the ability to respond to as quickly as we can. What differentiates us first and foremost is the different types of benefits that we do offer our students. First and foremost, we offer every one of our students a free laptop upon enrollment with us. And we found that the overwhelming majority of our current student base doesn't have access to reliable Wi-Fi. And so what we do is we provide every one of our students with a free Wi-Fi hotspot, as well as free Wi-Fi service for their entirety of their time with us as students. And beyond that, we provide additional support that many other institutions don't. So every one of our students gets a dedicated student success coach for the entirety of their time with us. The success coach is someone who contacts them on a weekly basis, makes sure that everything in their life is going well, that they feel, that they can do well from an academic standpoint. Just kind of guides them along the journey towards graduation and addresses many of the challenges that people face, not only students, but with life comes work events or family issues that need to be worked out. And so this support coach just provides that extra level of confidence and provides solutions as to navigate through some of these difficult life situations. In addition to that, we also provide every one of our students with mental health coaching if needed. We provide tutoring, and there are also some really exciting ideas that we have in the pipeline we still haven't launched just yet. And so all of that to say is, we are very responsive to what we're hearing from our students, and we're looking to find opportunities to provide, again, the best student experience that an online student can have, understanding that this is a fully synchronous, unique way of learning that historically has never been provided before. Last thing, Ray, I will add here is that going back to traditional colleges, and you touched upon this in your question, when you have a brick and mortar location, you are limited to regionally, whatever is available to you, whether it be faculty or just resources in the local community. What has campus standing out relative to others, and this is more, I'm thinking this more of from a worldwide perspective, is that once again, we're agile, we're nimble, we can move ourselves into and out of different markets based on the demands of that market and what, quite frankly, students are looking for. And so if we decided that we wanted to enter into, let's say, for example, Brazil, because there is high demand for higher education in Brazil, and the majority of 18 to 25-year-olds, as it stands today, are currently looking for computer science or engineering degrees. It's very easy for us within a couple of quarters, with all the proper approvals along the way, to stand up a new program and set up a new degree to respond in a real-time way to demands that the market is asking for. And so I just see an immense amount of opportunity over the next 5 to 10 years as we move beyond what we currently offer today, which is only an ABA business degree, an associate's degree that allows individuals to graduate over 2 years, and finding different opportunities to address not only demands for education, but also where the jobs are headed. Over the coming years, where are the lucrative, high-paying jobs, and how do we prepare our young people to best be equipped to find and land those roles as we look ahead.
That agility is incredible. Having been in Brazil and recruiting students there for U.S. institutions and Colombia and other places, there is this thirst globally, and especially in Latin America, for U.S. education. And that is something that is well beyond the reach of many traditional brick and mortar institutions, as you said. And all these services you're providing, from the free laptops to the individual coaching and the mental health resources, for that matter, that's something a lot of innovative institutions that are not so, I don't want to say staid, but they're not as agile as you are, it is interesting to see that that is a model that is emerging for student success. And I'm just curious how you anticipate or how you're seeing now all of the support you're giving, again, from the laptops to the coaching. Uh, how are these services directly impacting student success and completion rates? Do you see that happening now, or are you anticipating that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are very much a data-driven organization, and we love to, get as myopic and detailed as we possibly get to understand what is driving completion rates or persistence rates and what is driving melt or drop rates over the course of time. One thing that I found fascinating over the past couple of months is we've really been double clicking into what it is that drives drop rates in particular. Is there are a number of reasons, very legitimate reasons, that students leave a program, whether it be, as mentioned before, life challenges. I think of this as, someone's working a part-time or full-time job and their schedule changes and they simply just can't balance going to school and working at the same time. There are also family-related issues. You have a sick family member, or a spouse is taking a new job and has to move to a different city or town. And so education in some instances becomes lower on the priority list. In addition to that, some of the reasons that we found students drop out are sometimes the academic coursework could be too challenging. That's very much understandable. And then finally, students have, in a few cases, challenges with understanding the technology that we're offering, given that we are purely online. Through the first couple weeks in our program, having to navigate our proprietary campus wire system, having to understand how to use the laptops and the systems that we require our students use in order to be a part of and complete our courses. These are all challenges that can be addressed and are being addressed by campus. I would say somewhere between 80 and 85% of the reasons why students are dropping out are reasons that we can fix over the coming quarters. And so what we're going to do over the coming year or so is surgically address all these issues and find ways to alleviate that friction that causes students to leave the program. One thing we had introduced last quarter that to me is a no-brainer, but it just takes time with a young, early stage company or let's say young college to address is many of our students are having scheduling challenges with the time frame in which we're offering classes. So we were offering one set of classes on the East Coast from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And this past term, our fall 2024 term, we introduced a 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time class window. And over the course of a couple weeks, we saved over 120 students who would have typically dropped because they had scheduling challenges. We were able to move them between class periods and solve for that one cause of friction. We know that there's still some friction that needs to further be eliminated. And so we'll continue to offer more class times throughout the day, in particular focusing on the Pacific time and making sure there's just one thing that we have control over that will further lead to a better student experience for our students.
It's incredible, and it is interesting to think that it is simply a matter of time. that
right.
Some students really need the time and the flexibility, and you're doing that. You're developing flexible educational pathways, and we discussed why other institutions are able to do that as fluidly. But I want to go back to something you talked about with sort of looking at business administration, looking at skills like Amazon Web Services, AWS, cloud administration, other things. Like, curious how you were focusing on those workforce needs. Clearly, with the timeframes and the flexibility you're offering your students, some of them are probably working professionals. I'm curious how you are planning to align your offerings with those workforce demands, which just further improves the ROI of what you're doing.
Of course. So as it stands today, we have two separate offerings. The first is our online program, which as it stands, we offer one program, one degree, an AABA degree, or an associate's in business degree. And what we most recently introduced this past term is a concentration in AI. And so what we're doing is we are selectively going through all the opportunities available to us and finding ways in which we can provide further value in the degree that we are offering, or the varied degrees that we are offering our students. On the other side of our business, we do have a brick and mortar campus in Sacramento, California called Campus Sacramento. And we offer more vocational degrees, vocational aligned degrees than an online experience would allow for. So at Campus Sacramento, we offer programs such as a medical program, and more specifically, we offer a degree in medical assisting and phlebotomy. We have a cosmetology program in the Paul Mitchell School of Cosmetology and Barbering. We offer a legal program and primarily a degree in legal assisting. We offer an IT program, and some of the more popular degrees that we offer around cloud administration and other certificate programs. And then finally, we offer a lesser known business degree, which at some point is fully transitioning over to the online space. And what's really important about Campus Sacramento is we're using this as a testing bed to understand which degrees need to stay fully in person and which degrees can we start to migrate some of the coursework online to allow for more flexibility for our students. So very obviously, gen ed classes should probably at some point move fully online, but there will always be a need for in-person training and skill sets that some of these degrees and some of these future professions simply can't eliminate or move online. In particular, if you think about phlebotomy, you want to make sure that your students are having that in-person experience. And so what we're going to do is we're going to figure this out over the coming years. And then at some point, when we find the right balance, program by program, and we're certainly going to look to introduce more programs over time, then we'll expand this offering, to other states around the country and continue to build out a very strong focus on hands-on vocational skill-aligned degrees that are so important and quite frankly have been neglected and deprioritized, I think, by many in this country over the past couple of years. Just to quickly touch upon the online space once more, as we look ahead to the different programs and degrees that we want to offer prospectively, certainly there are many things to consider as to why you would offer a new program. First, it comes down to, at least in my perspective, demand for the degree. Where are students interested? What gets them excited? And, understanding why students are choosing these sort of degrees. The second part is we are a 2-year associate's program at Campus, and we look to provide our students with pathways to transfer to 4-year programs should they choose to do so. And so finding degrees that have a high transfer rate for credits to 4-year universities is very important to me. We don't want to provide our students with degrees that they won't be able to use, whether it be from a transfer standpoint or if they're looking to enter the workforce after graduating with associates, just making sure that there's a lot of value there. And along the same lines, we are all governed by gainful employment, and I am very, very confident in the value that we're providing our students and the measurements that we use to understand the added value that our degrees are providing students, so that when they leave our institution upon graduation, they could obtain a high-paying job that is significantly higher or better paying than what they could have found before being a part of Campus. So all things being considered, we have a very thoughtful path towards right now launching a bunch of very exciting new programs and degrees, and in particular thinking along the IT side, cybersecurity, computer science, engineering. On the marketing side, general marketing, maybe a sports marketing degree coming around at some point, and then further diving into healthcare. I think early childhood is in particular an area that there's a lot of interest, and I think a lot of jobs to be created and had over the coming years. And we will just make sure that we launch these programs in such a way that they are continuously aligned with market demand, whether that be from a student point of view or where jobs are.
That brings me to a place where I think we could close our conversation, because you're collecting all these data and you're doing all this experimentation and you're getting insights that are driving business decisions for campus and moving your programs in certain directions and how you serve students. So I'm curious, just use your crystal ball and tell us how you believe campus will continue to be able to stay ahead of the curve in the value you're providing your students from an academic perspective, from a support perspective. You're rapidly changing along with the higher ed landscape, and you're ahead of the curve in many ways. So how do you intend to stay ahead of that curve looking forward?
As I had mentioned before, Campus, in the way that has been constructed as an organization, is very agile. And we're going to continue to monitor demand in the market for where there's interest in degrees, where students want to spend their time, and where the jobs are headed. And we as an organization are very analytically driven, and we continue to find ways, every single month to reinvent ourselves or identify ways to become more efficient, to improve the student experience, and to provide more opportunities for both, honestly, our students and our graduates, which are very quickly growing in number and size. And so looking ahead, there is an immense amount of opportunity to not only change the relationship that young people and students in this country have with higher ed, but at a larger scale, worldwide, finding ways to provide the opportunity of higher education to people who may not have typically thought that as an opportunity for themselves. One thing I think about quite often is when our CEO, Tade, and I first met, he proposed this idea that at some point when campus scales large enough, we can move into a place such as the UK and bring on board faculty members from a university or an institution such as Cambridge. And because they will be in the same time zone, provide a higher ed learning opportunity for students in Nigeria who may have never thought that they could have exposure to the quality of professor as you would find at a place like Cambridge. And so that to me still provides a guiding light as to the opportunity ahead for us around the world and how we can further expand what we're offering to people who never had the exposure to higher ed that we are offering.
It's incredible, and we look forward to seeing it happen. Mike Belicose, Chief Financial Officer of Campus, thanks for sharing your time with us.
Thanks much, Trey. It was a pleasure.
Here's my take. The paradigm for higher education in the United States is changing rapidly, and it's going to face even more existential challenges than it has in the past. Community colleges are no exception. And looking at an imbalance in the market and the way that instructors need to be hired by community colleges, it's interesting to see a model where adjuncts from elite schools are adding to a supply of educators combined with proprietary software that is designed to create high-quality education at an affordable price. And that student debt piece is so critical. The idea of creating education that minimizes the debt on students to improve the return on investment for their degrees is an exciting one, as well as the idea of setting up classes in ways that meet students' needs, whether that's the timing or the curriculum. and doing that in a very pragmatic way that's data-driven. I think a lot of campuses could learn from that, where in some places, faculty members who are very talented but maybe don't understand what the new things coming down the pike are or how to teach them effectively to provide those job skills. This is a new model in the online space that is very forward-looking and is going to be something that we'll see more schools replicate in the future. The Mastering the Next podcast is a part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions professionals find their next big idea and feature a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Artis Cadieux, J.C. Bonilla, Mallory Wilsey, Brendan Henkel, Brian Gross, and so many other of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.